just we're testing everything right now. But yeah, like Karl normally, not normally, for 15 plus years has been the dude working with Eric Thomas, E.T. the Hip Hop Preacher. This is my wife coming on the show. And, oh, nice. She got us food.
Ooh, you're spoiling us. Don't feed me before I finish working. That's a bad recipe.
We'll take it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
No, you're good. So the rest of this live stream is just going to be Karl and I eating. And that's elevating beyond. I don't even remember what I was talking. Oh yeah, how's that for the most professional introduction?
This is it.
But and if this was a show, well, I guess it's live. I would literally just leave all this in because
it's real life.
It's just fun. But I don't remember what I was. Oh yeah, like 15 years with Eric Thomas and starting from the beginning. And if you guys don't know who he is, let me see if this is great.
Let's test now and see if it's
screen share works, which Karl, the dude, set up here.
Push the button, and he pushed the wrong button. That one. There you go.
All right, I will screw up. So actually, this UOU, you were here filming this, right?
Yeah.
In New Zealand, which, hey, E.T. has a new book out. Check it out, UOU. I'll show you guys a quick little reel of him if you don't know who he is.
You can't make me want what I don't want. You can't dangle something in front of my face I don't want that. And many of you are taking anything because you don't know what you want. And so if I can do one thing for you when you leave this room, I don't want nothing from you but for you to leave this room and know what you want. What do you want in your marriage? What do you want with your son and your daughter? What do you want in your health? What do you want financially? Like, how much money do you want to make a year? What do you want to drive? How do you want to live? Stop just waking up like an accident. What do you want? And then once you find out what you want, spend the rest of your natural life waking up and going after it. The reason why I speak with so much passion, E.T., why do you speak with so much authority? Because I'm talking about my life, not something that I read. I ate out of trash cans. I had no business eating out of trash cans. I lived in abandoned buildings. I had no business living in abandoned buildings. But E.T., your daddy wasn't in your life. Your mom was a teenage mother. You grew up, come on, look at your circle. That's not an excuse. There is no excuse for not living up to your fullest potential. No excuse. I told you, I didn't get a new daddy. I didn't get a new mama. What changed? I changed. And I stopped being a victim. I stopped saying I've got to wait for good things to happen to me.
Everyone, you have to check this out. But I want to show everyone something important. Why? Because look, this is what's really cool. I'm sitting here with Karl, who behind the scenes not only was filming ET, but Karl's incredibly humble. But like you were saying, I was the only one that says, but like the Dr. Dre of producing videos and YouTube content, and ET is one of the top one of the top speakers in the world, like for real. I can openly say he gets paid. I know this for a fact, like $200,000-$300,000 now per event earned from them all working so hard. But a huge piece behind that puzzle of your team is Karl was there creating and adding, like right now, I go to this little cut and thinking as ET's talking about like the rugby team in New Zealand, to start editing that in, to add the music in. And a lot of you now, you watch YouTube videos, that's the norm, but it wasn't when you started doing it. Like you guys...
Nothing close.
No. So everything you see that's amazing, that's motivational, that's added, actually Karl paved the pathway for that, which is incredible. And now 15 years later, millions and millions and millions and millions of downloads that we were talking, and I just love it because you were like, you know, it didn't even hit you till one day he was like, you know, remember you were saying I thought he was good because, which he is good,
Yeah.
because of what he says, and this is what good leaders do. He was like, no, Karl, it's you helped take me to a whole other level by producing my videos and being creative. And he didn't give you direction like
Not
make
at all.
music.
Not at all.
He had a vision of what he wanted to say, and then you had a vision of
Yeah, but he's been incredible. He has always been, hey, I know my lane. I'm gonna kill my lane. Like if you're here, find the way that you add value. You have your own superpowers, you know. So it's like I don't have to get permission to operate at my best. I have to get into the right opportunity, and once I get the opportunity, it's working. It's behind it. I'm just laughing at you over there pushing buttons.
I'm trying to. He's and I'm listening. Karl has set up this whole new Elevating Beyond studio. We're testing. I might just air this, but oh, you guys get ready for a whole new level. But I'm working with what he has set up, and I'm still figuring it
training,
out
y'all.
to switch. So are they not seeing?
No, you're
Are they
good.
seeing us in full screen now, or are they?
Yeah, this is what they're seeing. You're just looking at the window you had up.
Oh,
So just click
I thought they
behind
were
there.
still
Just
seeing
click behind
this
there.
dude's like flashing at him in the rugby. Dude, rugby players you don't want to mess with either.
Oh, that
They don't wear
sport's different.
pads.
No pad. That's different.
But like, okay, so they can't. All right, so I was
You just have to share a screen again if you want them to
Okay,
see
okay.
what you're seeing.
well.
Yeah.
If I played it, could they hear it?
Yes.
Okay. Well, what's cool is, and I want Karl to explain. I'm just gonna play it for a second more.
I can't explain it to you, but you better stop making excuses and find a way to win. Because once you start winning, you go from 1,500 to 3,000 to 5,000 to 7,000. You remember, see? From 7 to 10. Nothing changed. We still in the basement. We don't have a building. We still.
If this is what I remember, actually, this is kind of cool. It's like when people do like those reaction videos,
Oh.
but we're able to talk with you about breaking it down. If I remember this one, there's one part where like the music stops and it like goes silent,
Mm-hmm.
and then he like starts to hit a point, and then you like start that music like dude, like perfect.
Come back in. So this one,
I
let me
love
go
that.
back, Mark, and as I'm watching it, this one Ken did.
Okay.
Ken did. So let me correct that and not take credit. This is Ken's, and Ken was the person I told you that got me into video production. Like literally, when I first connected with Eric, Ken had done one project with the team, and I sat over Ken's shoulders. I was like, "Ooh, I like this," and I sat over his shoulder literally for 2 weeks straight, just like, "Yo, what do I do? How do I do it?" And Ken gave me kind of like his brain, and I took his brain. And the thing that, getting into what you're saying now in terms of how it's cut and how it's put together, it's storytelling. That's what it comes down to. We want to tell a story, and I understand that as time progresses, our attention span decreases.
Right.
So again, as time progresses, our attention span gets smaller and smaller. So as an editor, as I approach this as a producer, as you said, I'm trying to think, how do I keep your attention? Because I know that there's a kid crying, there's a text happening, there's a ESPN alert, there's something happening.
Right.
And I want to make sure, no, I need to keep your attention locked into this. So what I'm doing is I'm appealing to every possible sense.
Okay.
I'm appealing to your sight. I'm appealing to your emotion. And I consider emotion a sense, like there's something you're feeling, right? Not touch tangibly, but you're feeling something. I'm appealing to your ears. So that's 3 different ways that I'm trying to get information into your brain so I can lock into your attention. So I'm using everything I can, music, visuals. You see what I'm saying?
I do.
And just creating, and again, based on what he is saying. Now, let's just put that. He is bringing 120% passion.
It
Right.
takes all of it. What is so good for everyone listening to this, watching this as it's going everywhere? I mean, yeah, we'll share this. Why won't we? I hope this helps. This will help people. How could it? Look, how could it not? The results speak for themselves. Like Karl is sitting here as someone very humble, but behind the scenes, his filming, been editing, the most popular as far as like and no one even likes to label it motivational,
Right.
elevation, or
Right.
whatever. But if you want to put it in that, speakers that starting on YouTube when that wasn't even being done.
Yep. We literally, and Eric said it. He's like, dude, we created a genre that didn't exist.
No.
CJ always jokes about it.
Look
like,
it up. You guys go to it's E.T. the Hip Hop
E.T. the
Preacher,
Hip Hop Preacher. Yep.
or check out his new. Actually, do you have his picture of his book on there?
I sure do.
If I had it right, I'd do the screen share. But check out.
You can just go to ericthomas.com. It'll be right on there. ericthomas.com.
I was ericthomas.com.
Boom. So if you could see that, you.
Eric, is this it?
No. No. I don't know who that is.
This is why I'm the expert, guys.
I don't know who that is.
It pops up.
That's
Eric Thomas.
Eric Thomas. That's not.
Where is it?
So I just did Audible. You could get it on any
Oh
platform.
yeah. I got it on Audible. Where's him? Here, let's show them a behind. Are we allowed to show them the behind the scenes of him saying that, or do you have to wait for that to be produced? I'm just thinking, look, that I know him and this new book he has, UOU. I already got it on Audible. I've been listening to it. I started at like midnight last night, and I'm like, I have to turn it off because this is going to keep me up.
Hey,
And I already know his story, and I'm loving it.
I'm ready. We're playing it right now.
Okay, so look, this is cool. Okay, so everyone that is on LinkedIn, you're seeing behind the scenes, and now I'm putting this on Instagram. I'm here with Karl. We're going to show you behind the scenes. Eric Thomas just sent this over to Karl, his main editor for 15 years, producer about his new book. Let's check it out.
Hey, what's up, fam? Podcast fam, it's your boy E.T. Hey, I need y'all. I just stopped doing what I was doing. I need y'all. We're about 4,000 short of hitting 4,000 individual sales from hitting the New York Times bestsellers list. I need y'all. Stop the podcast right now or listen to it, but go right now, Amazon. You know, you ain't even got to go to the store. Wherever books are sold, stop what you're doing, click the link. I need 4,000 more of you to do this for me. It's 100,000 of you that listen. So please, 4,000 of you. Don't wait for nobody else. Don't ask nobody else. You be the one. Then when you do it, call somebody that you know listens to the podcast or who you know love ET and rock with me. If I've ever been a blessing to you, please stop and be.
E.T., little do you know that we just put that live here on LinkedIn on Elevate and Beyond. I'm just popping that on the Instagram page, helping get even more to it because, look, everyone that listens to me knows I do not ever recommend something because I personally, even like sponsors and stuff I look at that as a representation of me, and I don't ever want to give something that I don't deeply like. I've had even people on the show that were great, and some of their books were pretty good, but not it. And I had to weigh out: do I personally like? I have an Elevating Beyond library where I'll officially put what I recommend. This is one that I know for a fact I can personally like vouch and like stamp. This one is phenomenal, and I've known ET for like 8 years now.
Yeah,
and
you get the full story. Like again, Eric, this is Eric's 4th book, but the first in the last 10 years. So we've had time to sit down and really like, hey, what has worked? And Eric took it all the way back. Like, I'll be honest with you guys. He took it back to 2 generations before him to trace, like, why am I the way that I am? Like, what happened before me to set this up? How did I end up where I was? And for those that don't know,
like from homeless,
high school dropout, didn't know who his real dad was, like that story to now boldly, we tell you he's the #1 motivational speaker on the planet.
Absolutely.
So we don't like, again, just to understand all the details, all the information throughout that process, unreal. And the real push is for you to go through that process for yourself. The book is called You Owe You, right? So you owe it to yourself to go after whatever it is. You have life. You're alive today. Like, you know what I mean? Like we can't redo today. I can't go back and jump on the flight that I did yesterday. I can't do it. It's gone. So we're just pushing people like, yo, the day that you have now, let's make sure that we take full advantage of it. No excuses. Not everything is going to go perfect. You're gonna have some aches and pains. You're gonna lose some. So life is gonna life. That's what I said. Life is gonna do what it does. But you do what you are capable of doing regardless of that, because you don't get to do it over. This is it. This is it.
You know, we were talking last night, Karl, and what's great is it never ends at every level that you're at. And like when E speaks, like in this book, whether, I'm saying this from the heart, like from having a company for 15 years, having books out, a podcast, there's always stuff in there that I need to hear. And it, even if I've heard it, continues to motivate me and push me. And then if you haven't ever heard it, it's gonna take you to a whole other level. And what's great is from working, you know, he's able to pour all this knowledge in of the past 15 years plus of working with and speaking and connecting with, you know, the owners of an NFL team. You've been with them throughout all this, and just owners of huge companies that have been doing it the right way. And we all still battle. Like he opens up about stuff he still battles and struggles with. And last night we were talking about, and I want everyone listening to this, because this is always what the show is all about. We were talking about God and faith and purpose, like in real talk, and how sometimes you can feel guilty, including me, like when you're going after your dream or your purpose or wealth, which is misconstrued, because God is using that through you to help even more people with your purpose. And how like you have this other vision in you that you're talking about and you're sharing. And we were talking about like, you're like, you know, sometimes I can get kind of stuck feeling like, but I've been so successful, and like, isn't it like evil, or is it okay? What if and then remember I was like, what I've learned is not only should you, it's not even a question of that. I look at it from God as like, you're responsible, because you said life is life. Yeah. And since God's given you a life, you're responsible for doing the dream that God puts in your heart. And some people think you only have one, and I don't believe that. I believe you have different seasons. The purpose, like if God is your foundational why, you have different levels and different seasons of those dreams.
Hey, I'm putting you on the spot. Go to that single camera shot. We're still in practice.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I'm putting you right on the spot. There we go. Now you can keep going. Forget
what I was saying. But yeah, this is where I would be sending you a clip, man. I want to. Hey, look, I want to see if we can get something from this. I want to see a test of you making one of those. How long are you doing now? Like 15 seconds, 30?
It just depends. Depends on the platform.
Minute?
Depends on what the goal is. But I pride myself in getting the point across in the time allotted. Let's say that. So if we have 10 seconds, we're going to get the point across in 10 seconds. If we have 2 hours, we're going to get the point across in 2 hours. But nothing more, nothing less. You get the 100%. Point in the time allotted. So yeah.
So, okay, so we were talking about, and I love it. Like Karl flew in late last night, and we've been connected, but we really just met in person for the first time, I think, a week ago. And I've known Eric Thomas, I think, for like 8 years now. But the thing is, when you continue to get to different levels in life and you meet other people at those levels that are like-minded, you're able to just feel like you've known each other for years. Yeah. And immediately we're just talking about business. We're talking about God. We're talking about family. We're talking about marriage. And I remember, because like, I'm like, look, if there's a way like the enemy works or the devil, it's not the red tail and the pitchfork. It's coming into your mind. And it happens to me. Everyone that listens to my show, I open up about it all the time. You shouldn't do this. Who are you to do that? And I'm like, no, you're actually, and when you think of the word responsible for doing your dream, it puts a different twist on like, oh, I'm wanting to do this too, because it's for my own personal greed. It's like, no, you're responsible because you never know the ripple effect of what God's going to do with that dream through you.
And for your story, switch back cameras. Come on, I'm working you now. Let's go.
He's
Two
right.
shot. Yep, I got you. Let's practice. We can multitask. For your story, the line that comes to mind is, God trusted you with your story. That's what I say to myself. Like, man, God could trust you with this story. God could trust an Eric Thomas with that story. Now let's flip this. If I had your story, I don't know that I would have had the same outcome. Think about it. You see what I'm saying? If I were in your circumstance, 17 years old, doing some of this stuff, you know what I'm saying? I don't know that the outcome would have been the same. God trusted you with that story, knowing that regardless of how it looks right now, that sometime down the line, this is going to come out of it, and now other people are going to get help from this situation. So it's just like, whoa. When you think about it that way, it's like when you say responsible, yeah, I'm responsible because what I'm going through now isn't the end.
And there's only one you, like you said, God. And what he's saying, if anyone knew, like I was in jail at age 17. We had my mugshot there, fractured eye socket, broken jaw, into all kinds of nonsense for a long time. And we were talking about that whole transition, and it took some time of hearing this kind of voice, and God was talking to me. And I didn't read my first book till I was 18. Which was Stephen King's Pet Cemetery, and everyone and I laugh too because they think it's personal development. Yeah. But that's where I go back to responsible. And I was talking with Karl to kind of bring it full circle. Is if you read Stephen King's backstory, he was like dead broke in a trailer with his wife, writing the first manuscript to Carrie. I think they had a little closet, and he would like put it on the washing machine with a typewriter. And didn't even have a landline, was doing it overnight as a janitor.
Wow.
No, couldn't, and it wasn't like today where you could post on social media. You had to send it to publishers, wait for months. They long story short, he he threw it away in the trash.
Wow.
And his wife took it out. And she's like, don't give up on this. Like, you're good. And she pushed him to keep going. He almost didn't even do that. And then all of a sudden, Carrie gets picked up, and I love this part of it. I studied him. They get a call. It's not them. They don't have a phone. They're neighbors. He had to put his neighbor's phone number on to the publicist, and she calls him from the neighbors, and he was at work, and was like, I forget who. It was a huge publication company. They got Carrie. They want to talk to you about making a book and a movie. And the head, say that stayed in the trash. Okay. I'm coming out of jail. I'm this total loser, and I'm believing I'm a loser. I'm believing I'll never can do anything in my life. I think I'm stupid. Had Stephen King not been responsible, and his wife, we need the other people to push him to go after that dream, you never know the ripple effect, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. Yeah. And I always say, like, Stephen King, like, I hope you see this someday and know, like, you literally saved my life. And I got to thank you for that. And I want to thank you for going after your dream, because that showed me, wait a second, I can read. If I'm interested in something, I can actually read fast. And then I started getting really interested in, whoa, this is deep. There's like metaphors and stuff they tried to teach me in school that was boring. But then I went from there to reading more. Then it led to more personal development. Then it led to me thinking, wait, I can go to college. But had he not done that, I wouldn't be sitting here now. So like, had I not been in jail, had you been in jail, we all have our own life. Then there's a point where I have my company with disabilities to start sharing. All right, God said, Mark, now it's time to start sharing you being in jail. And I'm like, no, God, what are people going to think? Like, I've already established my business. I'm like a figure in our community. What are people going to think about me if they learn that I was in jail at age 17? And they're trusting their clients to come here. And I almost, I love to be, I almost didn't do it out of fear. And I realized, wait a minute, that's not God talking to me. And when we were talking earlier, when you're in those situations and you're wondering, am I following my purpose? As far as purpose goes, it's always the scarier thing. That's what God's asking you to do, because it takes faith and it takes action and it takes not knowing. People may have been like, dude, you share that about jail, Mark? I don't want my kids to come to dream. But it was the opposite. And people started opening up. Oh my, thank you for sharing that, Mark. My son's struggling with it. Opened up to a whole other, but there's so many ups and downs.
My guy Jamal King, Jamal says this all the time. One man's obedience is connected to so many people's destinies. One man's obedience, and you just gave the practical analogy of it, but I'm speaking to everybody listening. Something that you're doing now, some idea you have, something you're building, you have no idea 50 years from now how that changes a child's life,
yes.
a father's life, a mother. You have no idea.
Don't give up.
You have to keep going, because it's deeper than just you and what you're going through right now. There are people that are in terrible circumstances, probably 10 times worse than what you think you're going through, that you're going to be able to help bring out of something like that. So it's you got to keep pushing. You got to keep pushing.
Like I haven't taught, like, these past 3 years have been mentally hard, like on everyone, on all of us. It's been weird. It's been hard. I don't care what anyone says. It's been hard. It's been a weird mental battle. And there's so much hate. Yeah. And right now, like, people, you can just listen to the story of the economy's tanking, business, and that can deter you to be like, this isn't the time. And I'm like, no, if God put it in your heart, it's always the time. And I like, don't give up. Yeah. So everyone watching this, you're starting that business.
Now say that, hit camera 1 and look right into it and say that again. Look right over there.
So this is why I got the pro with me right now.
We're training, y'all. We're still training. Look right over there and tell them, don't give up.
It's only 7 years of having a show, but not with this whole new system. But it's true. Everyone, you've been going through it, and you have a dream, and the circumstances around you will try to dictate you. Now's not the time. And nothing it's not, like, in logical sense, right? But God uses the illogical. He gives you a vision. He gives you a hallucination. You have to be freaking crazy. And that's the beautiful part. It takes faith. And it says it like, faith without action is dead. So don't give up. You're responsible. You can do it. The circumstances never dictate your destiny, because God said, not only will you climb mountains, you can move mountains. And if you really believe, and that's what I had to tell myself each time I faced this fear, if I really believe in God and Jesus is in my heart, I can do all things through Christ. And I constantly have to remind myself that. I get nervous all the time, but you push through it. And what's amazing is when you're able, and it takes months, it takes years, but when you can get to that other side of that next level of your mountain, and there's always another mountain to climb, people are able to see you and be like, Mark, how were you in jail at age 17? And you have your company, you've had these books, and how are you sitting in a studio with a podcast that's had like 4 million listeners? And how did that happen? And I cannot sit up here and be like, oh, because all I can ever say is because God is orchestrating. And it becomes a proof. It becomes, you said life is life. This is called the testimony. You're living the testimony. The testimony isn't something you just say or read. It's what you do. And you're living the testimony, which means, boom, back to both of us.
Look at you.
You're responsible for going after your dream.
Yeah. Hey, the Bible tells you in Jeremiah, before you were formed, I knew you. So for each one of us here, it's like there is a plan. It's not random. Like, before you were formed, I knew you. So I'm calling you out of, and you talk about the options. I got a background in biology, so forgive me. But there's a lot of options when we talk about the womb, the sperm and the egg. There's a lot of options. You do the odds, and the chances of you being here are next to zero. Right. They're next to zero. So the fact that you are here, if you don't hear it from anybody else. Like the fact that you are here, look yourself in the mirror and understand that you are here by design. There's no accident. I don't care the circumstance. It is all intentional. Now, what are you going to do with it? That's the question. What are you going to do with it? You are here
in this time,
at this exact moment.
In this moment,
Yep.
as we're going through, where people are like, it's the wrong time. It's the only time.
It's the only time.
And where there's all this stupid division, and like if we had 4 hours, there's a whole other thing with a nonsense of listen, everyone, like everything tries to just destroy the purpose of the doing the greater good and being the best you. And the openly stuff that we see where it's so overly sensitized on the news of blacks are against whites, whites are against blacks. Yes, stuff happens that's bad, but so much stuff happens that's good. So much good stuff happens. And what's so unfortunate about that is the enemy loves to use that to divide people more and more. Listen, without you even knowing, I'm telling you, you think you're doing right, and you're trying to walk like on eggshells because you think, I don't want to say anything wrong. Please be yourself.
Yeah.
Like just be yourself. And sometimes you may offend, but be real and be like, I didn't know. But when you're trying and you're overthinking and you're like wondering, it makes everyone uncomfortable and it divides people. And then you get more and more inward.
And the goal is,
Right.
and I remember at a live presentation, Eric literally designed the entire conference around this theme: be demanding with life. Like be demanding, like you're here, get what you're supposed to out of life. And the reason why he said that is because if we sit passively by, dude, nothing happens. You keep working the job that you're working, complaining about your boss, complaining about this, and you do nothing about it. Guess what? Nothing happens.
Right.
Nothing changes.
Right.
So when he was saying be demanding, it's like, hey, I'm not telling you necessarily to quit the job today, even though some people might, but I am saying give yourself a timeline. 6 months from now, I will not be in this position. 3 months, a year from now, let's just do something different. Let's not sit here and just kind of whine. No, you have man, I don't think people understand the power of a brain. Like, I'm not being funny. Like,
No. Being intentional, not only the power of the brain, the power of what you allow in your brain. Subconsciously.
Yeah.
We were talking about this morning. I love you, honey, if you're out there. My wife likes the news. I hate the freaking news. It's toxic. And I put my earbuds in when she has it playing, and I'll listen to other stuff. You got to be intentional, because what I learned, another part about your brain, what even can come in at the subconscious level without you even knowing,
Impacts you.
can start to make you anxious and fearful. And I realized, wait, I've been hearing the news during COVID, and I don't usually watch it over and over. So I'm worrying about all this other stuff that's stopping me. I'm telling you guys, the enemy loves to do any little trick.
Distraction.
To go after your purpose that's going to help other people.
Yeah.
And sorry, going back to the biology.
Yeah, no, it's just, you took me somewhere. Division and distraction. That's the enemy's two strategies. Division, distraction. So keep you distracted so you can't, number one, fulfill your purpose.
Brain.
Right?
We're talking about brain.
Thank you. Hey, I'm becoming like you now. I can't stay on a topic. So just
because I interrupt so much.
If you understand how powerful your brain was, like, I don't think people ever stop. Like, you have the ability to do some incredible stuff with your mind, like just physiologically. And I told my kids this, like, you can sit here, and I'm being really simple, like on purpose.
He's gonna move.
I'm gonna move that bottle over there, make it. No, I'm just saying, your brain, your mind is up here, right? You can sit here, and I'm about 6 feet tall, 5.5 feet away from me. I can wiggle my toes.
Yeah.
Because of stuff that's happening. Are you kidding me? And we just take that for granted? Okay,
yeah.
Cool. Your body's not impressive to you. Like, can one of you explain to me how I can just hit numbers on this little black box, and all of a sudden somebody in Afghanistan can pick up the phone and I can hear them? Like, let's just think about the stuff that our brain has done. Okay, so we got people.
Because people followed. Because someone was bold enough to follow their vision.
Be demanding.
And everyone's like, oh, but social media and everything's destroying. One part of it is, another part of it, like you said, my wife's family is in Sierra Leone. They can reach each other through WhatsApp because someone created something, and it costs them just having the Wi-Fi, which used to be impossible.
Yeah.
They can then, you talk about brain, teach mindset. They can access YouTube videos, podcasts, Elevating Beyond's in 52 countries, and it's free.
No excuses.
Because of the brain. Because
excuses.
someone, I don't know how any of this works.
No excuses.
Someone went after their dream, and all of you, I always say, are way smarter than me in so many other areas.
Hey, I wrote this down, and we got to wrap up, Mark. I got to go.
Yeah. His Uber's coming.
Watch this.
This was going to be a test, but
That's a great test. I literally
This
wrote
is
this
a
down
show.
2 nights ago, just listening to something. Whose problem can you solve doing something that you love? That's like it. Like, I want to say a hidden formula in life, because most people go get a job, you go do this because now you got debt, you got bills to pay. But I want you to rephrase that. Like, I want you to think about whose problem can you solve. Let's be transparent. I've been doing all this work with Eric for all these years. You reached out to me to come help do something with technology, dude. From the time I was maybe 70 years old, my mom was like, dude, you are gonna do something with your hands in technology.
Really?
Seven, literally. So now, whose problem can I solve doing something I like? I'm like a kid in the candy stores. We're talking about all the equipment and
Look at
this,
this.
and there's a new roadcaster, and we're gonna do the lights and all this. I love this world. Whose problem can you solve? I'm helping you with something that you want to do. You want to reach more people.
Exactly.
Dude, it's a win-win.
Yes.
You get the convenience of sitting right at home, pushing a couple of buttons. Your show goes to the world. I get the joy of traveling. I love traveling. Jumping on a plane, coming down here, seeing a beautiful, warm state. I'm in Michigan, people.
He's like, oh yeah, I want to come down to Florida when it's.
I told him that's the only problem we have. He brought me down here in Michigan summer. I'm like, dude, I need to come down there in like the middle of January when Michigan is like 2 degrees. But my point is, I'm solving a problem doing something that I love to do. This is a win-win. I got energy for days going back. I'm going to be a better husband this evening.
I love it.
I'm going to be a better father to my kids this evening because I did something I enjoyed today. I get back to them. I'm excited. I'm hugging them. You see what I'm saying?
And you went after, and years of going after your purpose, and then there's different levels of it. And then it even led to, oh man, I'm doing this with E. I'm on his team.
Yeah.
Now there's other opportunities. I'm getting other jobs to come help put studios together, do stuff. And we never know the ripple effect of any of this. And at any point, we could have had a million excuses along the way to be like, the timing's not good. This isn't well. And so I'm telling all of you, and I know you have to go, I say it all the time. And there's a reason why I say it all the time. Like, it's one of those sayings that it's always true. Like, not only never give up, but never give up on you.
Yeah. You owe you.
You owe you.
You owe you.
So, hey, check out E.T.'s new book, You Owe You. I have it on Audible. It's everywhere. Amazon, Barnes & Noble, anywhere books can be found. He's not paying me to do this. I love him and I respect him, and I only share what's good with all of you. So God bless everyone. Never settle, and keep, I got to test one of these. No, I don't even know what you put. Oh, I thought that would do the horn.
It's supposed to. Hey, we got a glitch.
Oh my gosh, we have to check this out. Well, it was supposed to.
Yeah, we got a
Anyway,
glitch.
never settle, and boom, boom, boom. There's a DJ horn for you. Keep elevating beyond.